big time NBA trade today. My Toronto Raptors traded for Kawhi Leonard from the LA Clippers. He returns to the city of Toronto where he won a title, the first title in franchise history for my Raptors. What a time to be a Raptors fan. I'm actually still in shock to be saying these words. Kawhi Leonard is back in Toronto. Total amount of compensation and draft picks that the LA Clippers received today for Kawhi include Brandon Ingram, who is coming off of a decent season for my Raptors. He was stellar in the regular season, particularly before the All-Star break, but he didn't really show up in that playoff series against the Cavaliers. The Clippers also received Gradey from the University of Kansas. He did not really pan out in Toronto. After a decent rookie year, Gradey just wasn't able to break into head coach Darko Rajakovic's rotation last season. In terms of draft picks, here's what's going to happen between the Clippers and the Raptors. The Clippers will receive an unprotected 2033 first-round NBA draft pick. They'll also receive a 2030 and a 2033 second-round draft pick. This deal also includes a 2027 first-round NBA draft pick swap. I know Kawhi Leonard just turned 35 years old, but when you consider the type of season that he just had for the Clippers, this is a major boost for this Raptors franchise. Toronto defied the odds this season. They made the playoffs and pushed the Cleveland Cavaliers to 7 games with Scottie Barnes, Jamal Shead, RJ Barrett, Collin Murray-Boyles. You add Kawhi Leonard to that core, you have a proven finisher in games. We all remember the Kawhi shot, multiple shots during that Raptors title run. And the presence of Kawhi Leonard also takes a ton of pressure off of Scottie Barnes and RJ Barrett. The Raptors were also one of the youngest teams in the NBA last season. This trade gives them a true locker room leader and vet in Kawhi Leonard that is a proven champion who's done it at the highest level for many years now. I'm okay with the Raptors giving away these draft picks because of how reliable this front office has been in terms of being able to receive draft picks in other deals. I do feel as though the Raptors will still be in a strong position in future NBA drafts. It's hard to say the Clippers won this deal in any capacity. Brandon Ingram is a star. He's nowhere near a superstar. It's actually a bit shocking. You would assume that the Clippers would have been able to find maybe a better deal out on the open trade market if they fished around a bit, but we know that this LA Clippers front office has continued to make poor decisions over the years. This Clippers team did get younger over the last 12 months, moving on from James Harden, Paul George, now Kawhi Leonard. They also moved on from Russell Westbrook about a year ago. They have Darius Garland, Benedict Mathurin. The Clippers might still have a solid foundation for them to build on going forward, but in the immediate future, this is a home run trade for this Raptors organization. I truly believe that Scottie Barnes will be considered a top 10 player in the league 12 months from now. I also think that the evolution that we saw in Scottie's game towards the end of last season is one of the most underrated developments in the entire league at the moment. Scottie Barnes finished top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting this past season, and he can do it all on the offensive end. He's just about to enter his physical prime, and we all witnessed how he's able to control the game on both sides of the court. As a facilitator, as a finisher at the rim, he can stretch the floor. He is a dangerous player in transition as well. Just go back and look at Scottie Barnes' highlights from that first round playoff series against the Cavaliers. He was the best player on the floor in that series. I'm calling it now. Scottie's going to be considered a top 10 player in this league, maybe top 5 a year from now, and Kawhi Leonard is going to be there to guide the ship. And then we have to talk about how dangerous this Toronto Raptors defense could be in the Eastern Conference next season. They might end up having the best defense in the East next season, or a top 3 defense league-wide. Kawhi Leonard, Scottie Barnes, Collin Murray-Boyles, aka CMB, Jamal Shead, Jacoby Walter. This is shaping up to be a defensive core that no one is going to want to play in the Eastern Conference. And this Raptors team still has 4 or 5 open roster spots. They still have an opportunity to flesh out the roster through free agency or other moves this summer. So taking a look at the Raptors defensive metrics this past season, for the regular season, the Raptors ranked 5th in the league in defensive rating. OKC was 1st in defensive rating. The Pistons were second, the Spurs were third, the Celtics were fourth, and the New York Knicks, who just won the NBA title, were seventh in the league in defensive rating in the regular season. That's without Kawhi Leonard. They're jumping into the top 3 in defensive rating next season with Kawhi Leonard if he stays healthy, and that is a big if. We all know about the sketchy past of Kawhi Leonard in terms of his health and being able to stay on court. But if we're to use recent history as a baseline, Kawhi Leonard is coming off of his healthiest season in quite some time. I actually think that Kawhi has missed so many games in his career due to injuries and load management that he's closer to 31 or 32 years old in NBA years as opposed to being 35 years old. His birthday was yesterday, in fact. Going back to the theme of defense, the 3-man lineup consisting of Scottie Barnes, Collin Murray-Boyles, and Jamal Shead was the second best 3-man defensive lineup in the NBA last season. Besides those 4 or 5 open roster spots, there are other concerns here. What are the Raptors going to do with the contract of Immanuel Quickley? Immanuel Quickley is a good point guard in this league who has evolved on both sides of the court, but that $170 million contract that he signed with the Toronto Raptors a couple of seasons ago is starting to look like an overpay. If the Raptors are able to move the Immanuel Quickley contract this offseason, then I actually think they have the cap space to maybe flesh out a title contending team this upcoming season. But even if they keep Immanuel Quickley next season, I think this Raptors team will contend for an NBA title. If Kawhi was on the floor for the Raptors in Game 7 against the Cavs in that first round series that we all saw, then I think the Cavs would have been going home that night. His presence alone would have been enough to offset the lack of production that Brandon Ingram was able to provide. Brandon Ingram was well received by Toronto Raptors fans in the regular season. He had a lot of big moments, game-winning shots, but it's all about what you do for me lately, and Brandon Ingram was a bust in that first round playoff series where he did not show up in any capacity. Kawhi Leonard is coming off of a career regular season. He just averaged 27.9 points a game. That was 6th in the league. He was incredibly efficient as well. He was also a monster with the 3 ball, hitting more than 38% of his threes. If the Raptors receive 85 to even 90% of the value he was able to create on the court for the LA Clippers last season, then they're going to be cooking next season. One could argue that Kawhi is in a better situation right now than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis was traded to the Miami Heat. Yes, he is going to play with Bam Adebayo and a couple of promising young players like Pelle Larsson, but they gutted their roster to make that deal happen. Kawhi is essentially stepping into a better situation, a ready-made team. I do have concerns about Jakob Poeltl and his contract at the moment. Jakob Poeltl declined dramatically last season for the Raptors on both sides of the court, especially defensively. He had a reputation as a solid rebounder and a good rim protector in the NBA, but we didn't see that, especially after the All-Star break. He did deal with a few injuries, but I do feel like the Raptors need to improve at the 5 for them to truly contend for a title, but we still have time. We have a long summer ahead, and who knows, maybe it was a temporary decline from Jakob Poeltl. What if he bounces back next season? I've been a Toronto Raptors fan for the majority of my life. I live right here in Toronto, Canada, and my best moments as a sports fan ever were following the Raptors during that 2019 title run. I'll never forget what that title run meant for the city, the championship parade, all of the clutch moments from Kawhi, all of the vets on the team that got to win a title. There was an electric atmosphere in the streets of Toronto when the Raptors were playing, especially in the playoffs. I'll never forget the city going absolutely crazy when we won the title that night. It was such a fun time. It was bittersweet to see Kawhi leave and go to the LA Clippers under suspect circumstances, I might add. I thought him leaving and going to the Clippers at that time was sketchy, and that's essentially been proven to be true over the years with all of the information that we've learned about the Clippers essentially not playing fair in their pursuits of Kawhi during free agency. But going back to that moment, no one thought that Kawhi would be leaving that summer. We all knew that he was an unrestricted free agent. He had all of the cards in his hand, and we just didn't have that precedent in the league of a superstar walking away from a team in free agency right after winning a title. Fans usually get to see their team run it back for at least another year. It was really sad to see the Raptors still make the playoffs next season without Kawhi when everyone said we'd fall off, and we went to the second round in the bubble. You guys remember OG Anunoby hitting that game-winning shot against the Boston Celtics in the bubble. If Kawhi was on that team, the Raptors would probably have won another title. Most NBA fans believe that to be true. I am one of them. Kawhi never really gave us an opportunity to run it back, but he's doing that now. It is years later. Some fans are not happy about this. They think that the Raptors maybe should have passed on acquiring Kawhi Leonard, but going from Brandon Ingram to Kawhi is a major upgrade. No matter how you look at it, the Raptors are going to be relevant again. And Shams was on TV earlier saying that he was told that Kawhi Leonard views this as an opportunity to retire in Toronto. He is expected to sign an extension to stay with this Raptors team for the next few seasons. We don't know how effective he's going to be a few years down the road, but we all know that he is an impactful player right now, and I think the Raptors made the right move. Hit the like button for me and leave a comment below about anything NBA related for the algo. Subscribe to my channel now and turn notifications on so you don't miss my upcoming NBA news videos. It's Myguy here on my NBA news channel. Myguy knows ball. I'll see you next time.